Good morning, friends. So this week we've been looking at different ways that people are practically living their faith. Now, some of them in the new year are trying Fiat 90, Nineveh 90, Exodus 90. Some are looking at Marian consecrations. Some are doing, okay, you can't do all of that, but Marian consecration with one of the first three. And some of you may best be pulling little pieces out of inspiration out of there. That's a great idea. So today we're going to look at ways of adapting some of these practices for people of different ages and abilities. And tomorrow our friend Diane is going to be back talking to us about homeschooling multiple ages of kids. She has 4 kids all the way from college right now down to elementary school. And how is she helping and working with all of those different ages? Okay, so today we're going to get started in just a minute. If you're my husband, look away for just 1 minute. Now, one fun thing that we're going to be doing soon, if you haven't seen my Goofy channel with my husband, it's kind of our goofy, fun, just a way to let off some steam. We've been doing these blind taste testings and having a lot of fun doing it. That's under the playlist called The Reluctant Husband. And so I'm going to show you, we're getting ready for Almond Bowl. It's like the Super Bowl, but way better if your team's not in the Super Bowl. Okay, so I'm going to show you the brackets for Almond Bowl so you know what's going on. There's going to be a blind taste test of many different types of almonds. Here is our bracket. The rankings are over here. The game numbers are circled so that you can get an idea of what's going on and start guessing which kind of almond my husband will end up choosing. We had kind of thought that it was just a little bit weird. We did the Doritos. It totally made sense why we did the taste test on Doritos. We were trying to figure out one of his mother's recipes. And then we got into some goofiness with some combos, and we thought we'd try some healthy snacks and see what we think about them. He does a pretty good job explaining why he likes the different flavors and if they've been executed well. So I think a lot of people might benefit. If there's some other food, either wacky or practical, you'd like him to taste test, put it in the comments below. Okay, so what are the different practices people are doing in the different 90s and Marian consecration? We'll start out with there's doing 3 meals a day, small meals, right? And no snacks in between. Now that might not be practical for you, but it's a great chance to try out some meal prepping. I think that's what it's called, that people do, where you try and make a whole bunch of meals once a week. So if you've got a small child in the house and you're trying to figure out snacks, one way to do it is to maybe get a small cup, and that's going to be what your child measures their snacks out in, whether it's a fruit pouch or goldfish crackers or even fruit, that they're only going to be using that one little cup to measure out their stuff. And it's just a way to teach them a little bit of self-control and portion control. So that's just an idea to do for them, to teach them that they can measure out their portions. I know a lot of people do that when they're dieting, or you can teach your kids how to use a scale. So if you're a homeschooler, that would be a great little math lesson. Whether your cups have different measurements on them or you've got a scale, you can teach your kids how to use the scale, how to measure out cups of different things. So that could be a fun little lesson. And if you've got kids of different ages, it will be great. You could if you have a bunch of little cups, you could already have them portioned out and filled with snacks that they can just grab one. You can say pick one, and you already have it in the fridge or a special shelf in the cupboard that they're already portioned out for them, and they can just grab them. So that's another way of trying it. Another thing is Wednesdays and Fridays to have a fast, especially a fast from meat. And right now, kids might not understand that, but it is a discipline. So you're teaching your kids or adults some self-controls. And it also teaches creativity. You're going to try and come up with meals that don't have meat in them. So it's a chance for you, if you've got younger kids, to teach them about the different food groups, right? And what are appropriate substitutes for meat. You can talk about lessons then on what a protein is, right? And what are the different categories among proteins. So again, it's just another learning opportunity for you and your kids. Now, if you have an older adult, sometimes they can forget how to portion things and to make some really great healthy choices. So this may be good. Again, going on any kind of fast or diet, always consult your doctor first. But this is just going to be a fun way, an extra tool, and maybe help you get out of a rut. I know a lot of times in nursing homes and with little kids, you get into a Monday, this is what we eat. Tuesday, this is what we eat. And sometimes you get almost too predictable, and so your kids aren't learning the challenge. So maybe say, okay, we usually eat this on Wednesdays. Can we come up with another fun choice? And just get some creativity, some brainstorming. You can teach them some brain bubble skills, like a little thought map. I have a little piece of paper here. So maybe take down different suggestions, and you could have a vote. You can write them down, and then you guys can have your own little vote and decide. So you could even teach your kids a little bit about democracy. We're going to have a vote on what we're going to eat on Wednesday night. And that's just a great little way to do it. Or you could write them down on slips of paper, the choices that your kids have made, and then draw one. Or maybe it's, rotate what kid gets to pick. And I would say just do this for one night a week. You don't want to drive yourself completely crazy, but it would give your kids a little bit of independence, right? Because they're getting to choose, a little bit of self-determination, or teaching them how to vote. So you could take many different angles with that, and I think that's a great choice. Or you could have your kids talk about, maybe they could fast from something else on Wednesday and Friday. Maybe they can make a choice of, maybe on Wednesday and Friday are days that we look at, like, go through our books one Wednesday and say, maybe this is something I don't need anymore and somebody else could benefit from. I mean, you could do that for Fridays. If you're only picking one day, I would definitely pick Friday, because of the Good Friday connection to this whole system here. So pick Good Friday, and every Friday is like a little tiny, like every Sunday is like a mini Easter. So every Friday is like a mini Good Friday. And to reinforce that lesson, maybe we make one sacrifice or do one good deed on Friday. Maybe it can be Good Deed Friday, right? That could be a really fun thing to do. And if you've got somebody older in a nursing home, who is just having some difficulty, maybe on Fridays, we make an extra effort to visit them, or on Fridays, they make an extra effort to hang out with somebody. Maybe that's a little difficult for them to hang out with in the nursing home. That person who's awkward and doesn't have a lot of friends. Maybe they could spend a little bit of time with that. That's easy. My mom did assisted living for a little bit, and yeah, there can be cliques in there. So maybe one day a week, they choose to go outside, like make a new friend Friday. Pick somebody new to sit with, just somebody different that Friday. And you can make some great friends. You may not, but hey, give it a shot. Okay, what else can we do? They have, a lot of the 90s are doing no sweets, alcohol, or soda. So you could choose, if you can't really give that up. I mean, I don't drink at all, so that wouldn't be meaningful to me. I don't even drink soda anymore. But sweets I do occasionally, so maybe I could make sure to give that up, although I've really reduced that too. So this is why Diane had asked me, are you doing any of those? Because I feel like you do a lot of these things. I've done Nineveh 90 twice, so some of these practices I've incorporated in my life. Of course, I always need to renew, refresh, so that's one of the reasons we're looking at fresh ideas here. So we're brainstorming together. Workouts 5 days a week. I'm not doing workouts 5 days a week. I'll be honest, I try and get in my 12,000 steps right now. And I started that workout, and it's been hard to fit in the 12,000 steps and the workout. So I'm trying to figure out a way to do that. But then again, these are challenges. I need to do it. I just need to suck it up and do it. And what that could look like for somebody else, maybe doing your physical therapy exercises that you got maybe a couple years ago and you've gotten a little lax at doing, and you know that you need them on a daily basis. This is a good time to challenge yourself and get out there and do it. And if there's not one, ask your friends, like, what's your favorite exercise, and see if there isn't something new or different that you could incorporate. Another one is getting 6 hours of sleep. So if you're a person who only sleeps for 3 hours a night, maybe try and increase that. I know it gets harder as we get older sometimes to sleep. So work on adding an extra relaxing activity. And that's where the next one's going to come in, because we're going to work on our prayer life. And working on your prayer life oftentimes will lead you to better sleep, or at least that you get some downtime. Sometimes when we don't sleep, we can be a little frantic. And at least this way, you're going to be trying to relax a little bit, right? So they say start out, if you're don't have a very big daily prayer life, start out trying with 20 minutes and increasing it over time. And that 20 minutes, if you're don't do much at all, You might have to break that 20 minutes into 10 in the morning and 10 at night, and then try and increase them, right? Until you're doing at least an hour a day. And that sounds like a lot, but here's some ideas. You can start doing Lectio Divina, either with the daily readings, or I do Liturgy of the Hours, and so you could do your Lectio on that. I know the Bible journaling, Catholic Women's Bible Journaling on Facebook, they already have daily prompts out there for every day in January at least. She tries to get them, Emily tries to get those out once a month. She'll make a whole list of prompts for the month. So they can be great ones to do Lectio on. You can look them up on Facebook. Let's see, it says, so Lectio, Divine Mercy Chaplet, especially if you are someone who is in a suffering situation, whether you have toddlers that are growing out of naps, or you've got a college student who's on some great mission trip or trip in another country, and you're suffering because you're missing them and you're worrying about them. The Divine Mercy Chaplet should be your go-to there, right? It doesn't have the rosary on there, but if you're not doing the rosary, I'd absolutely add that. And the Franciscan Crown is another great one, because when we get to Lent, we're going to be switching to the sorrowful mysteries in the 7 Sorrows of Mary when we hit Lent. So right now we're still doing the Joys of Mary, 7 Joys of Mary. Come Lent, we're going to be doing the 7 Sorrows. So this is a good time to really focus on the joys of the new year. And adding a daily examen. And I have videos on examens and examens for groups already on this channel, so you can check them out if you're not sure what to do with those. And that can be something like if you were in a nursing home or something, you could absolutely adapt those and do them as a group where people just maybe internalize them, but that there's a leader doing that with them. Sunday Mass. Absolutely, you should be going to Sunday Mass. If you don't have Mass available, maybe start making an effort to find one near you. There may not be one near you, but maybe you can find a deacon or somebody who's willing to visit and do a prayer service. So it could be the time to reach out. And if you're in a situation, where you don't have access to that, make sure your loved ones know that that's something that you really want. Let's see, and reconciliation once a month, that goes in the same category. The other ones are like abstaining from social media, movies, only Catholic podcasts and music. Now, if you're a mom with young kids or any age kids or anybody, this is a great time to check out some new music. Now, I love Brother Isaiah. I think he's with Franciscan Friars of the Renewal. He does some like modern, I would call it modern jazz folk. I don't know. I love Brother Isaiah, but there's also all kinds of medieval chant and just some great Catholic music has been going on, right, for over 2,000 years. So there's great options out there. Try and look at all different ones and experiment and see what you like. There's also tons of Catholic podcasts for people of all ages. So this is another great time. I mean, EWTN even has shows for like toddlers. So get out there and look. They put a lot of those on their different apps and social media. And these are appropriate uses of social media. Don't make any unnecessary purchases. I mean, you can ask toddlers to hold off. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure about adopting that one. The next one, though, kind of no grumbling and complaining. That's one we always, I think, need to renew. So that's a great one. And you can make fun little signs and put them up around the house about no grumbling, right? Cut out the multitasking. That has been a challenge for me. I was pretty grumpy when I first saw that. I'm like, women multitask. It's what we do. And other people told me, like, no, I can't do my job if I don't multitask. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized the research is right. The more you multitask, the less quality work you're doing, and you're not really being intentional with what you're doing. So take time to do each thing you do well, complete it, and then move on. I know it's a challenge. Absolutely, 100%. And are there still going to be times when multitasking, like you start something and you don't want to just sit there for 20 minutes? Hey, that could be time that you sit there and pray. Not really multitasking. I'm saying don't go start another task. Stick with this one until you finish it. Go ahead and start it. Do a prayer, read a book, find something quiet and reflective that builds you up to do it. Don't run from one thing to the next. I'm saying slow down. So find ways to slow down. And of course, no phones during meals. One other thing I really didn't get to show you yet. I've got these great little colored tabs. Obviously, they're made by a certain company. One fun thing you do is when you're praying the rosary, you can make spiritual bouquets for people. And these can be very great sensory aids for people. So say you have your circles drawn on the paper. For every Hail Mary you say, you get to put a flower petal on. And these are kind of hard to grab, so they can be great occupational therapy. And so you're making your little flower. And then this is a gift that an elderly person or small child can give to someone later. You just keep adding them. You can mix in different colors. You could do this with bingo markers. You could do that with stickers. You could absolutely, if you have someone who's a little bit more able that can use glue, you can use all different colored buttons and make some really cute crafts that are pictorial representations. Like you can actually make spiritual bouquets. And don't forget, you can always fold a piece of paper in half one way and then the other. And you can make a card, like be out here, have a blessed day. And on the inside, the kid can write their name and then say, open for a surprise. And when they open it, it's this beautiful page covered with flowers representing all the rosaries and prayers that you or your child or your grandmother has prayed for someone. I think a grandchild would love to get that from their grandmother. Jeanette Williams is always talking about how her grandmother prayed a rosary for each grandchild every day. What a blessing. And you can mail those off as little cards so that those grandkids know that you're doing that. I thought that was a beautiful idea. And of course, you can color them. There's a lot of great coloring books that are meditative. They're kind of like Bible journaling, but without you doing all the art. You're doing the coloring as you listen to your beautiful Catholic podcast, music, or praying. And so you can color as well. And again, that can be such a gift to mail out to someone. Even a little one can do some coloring as they pray and send it off to grandma or to anyone in a nursing home. It doesn't have to be their own grandma. So I hope you like some of these ideas. You can let me know what your favorites are, or if you have any ideas, in the comments below. As always, like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to catch Diane on tomorrow. And absolutely get your ideas in there. Who is going to win Almond Bowl 2020? God bless, friends.